So this story was brought to my attention by a longtime Knicks fan named Jonathan George. I really appreciate this man. Such a Knicks fan that you'd have to shoot him to make him say he wasn't. And that's very rare. So a lot of respect to you, sir, for being such a great Knicks fan. Now, let's get into this story. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Steve Nash supposed to be an NBA champion when he had Dwight Howard and Kobe Bryant? Not to mention, he also had Pau Gasol, who was no slouch himself. And this man didn't win a championship with the Lakers. My goodness. But now let's get a little deeper into Steve Nash's sad story and why I'm glad that he actually won his championship. And first of all, let me be the first one to say that I didn't think Steve Nash was in the front office working. What I thought he was that he was a personal trainer. That's what I thought he was doing. Steve Nash was a man that won 2 MVPs for a reason. Many people say he stole one from Shaq, but I don't think that was the case. When Steve Nash was in the brink of winning a championship when he was with the Phoenix Suns, he had a guy named Shawn Marion. Shawn Marion was killing it at the time, a rising star. You know what Shawn Marion said? Shawn Marion said, "I don't want to be here anymore because I want my own team. I want to be the man." And Shawn Marion left, went to other teams, such teams like the Miami Heat, the Raptors, and you know what happened to him? His career declined, and luckily, Shawn Marion went to the Mavericks and won a championship there. So instead of swallowing your pride when you were in the brink of a championship, you decided to go elsewhere and have your own team. Granted, wherever you went, you never had your own team, Shawn Marion. You was always a second string or third guy. So you essentially screwed over the Phoenix Suns and Steve Nash when you were at the brink of winning a championship. But not only did you screw them over, you screwed yourself over. And you realized this towards the end of your career when you only had a couple of years left. And luckily, Dirk Nowitzki got you that championship. And you did contribute pretty well, but no Dirk Nowitzki, no championship. And who can forget in 2007 when the NBA screwed the Phoenix Suns? I'm talking about screwed. People say the NBA is rigged till this day because of that incident. When Robert Horry almost broke Steve Nash's face off. And guess what Amari Stoudemire and Boris Diaw did? Because they're good teammates and you're supposed to have your teammates back, they left the bench to aid Steve Nash from that dirty play that Robert Horry committed and again almost broke Steve Nash's face off.
Back again to Stoudemire. Nash had 15 assists. 20 seconds to go after Spurs missed. They need to foul Steve Nash. That's a little hard. Robert Horry checks him into the scorer's table.
He fouled him all right.
Yeah. This is where Big Shot Rob might have become Cheap Shot Rob. Take another couple of looks. Of course, Nash has already been beat up enough in this series with a bloody nose.
He said afterwards he was thinking about getting up because, as he put it, he's been working on the gun.
Yes, well.
And watch out, the guns will get you.
Raja Bell gets in Horry's face. Horry gets tossed. Could be looking at a suspension from the NBA. Raja Bell got teed up. There was talk that Amari Stoudemire left the bench to come to Steve Nash's aid, but we haven't seen any video proof of that. The NBA, of course, will be checking.
So now, they suspended Robert Horry, and they suspended Amari Stoudemire, and they suspended Boris Diaw. Now, let me ask you guys a question. In what world is that equal to where Boris Diaw and Amari Stoudemire are equal to Robert Horry? The NBA could have let that slide, but they didn't. They've suspended Stoudemire and they suspended Boris Diaw. And they screwed over Steve Nash. And the Phoenix Suns couldn't pull out the series because when you don't have Amari Stoudemire back then, and Amari Stoudemire was an animal back then, but when you don't have him for a crucial game in the playoffs, you're not going to win the series. And guess what happened? The Spurs swept the Cavaliers in the 2007 finals, and that could have been Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns. And you know what? We got to look back in history and go, maybe I do understand why some Phoenix Suns fans believe that the NBA was rigged to a degree. Because had the Phoenix Suns have went to that finals in 2007, Steve Nash would have a championship already. And I'm glad that Steve Nash got that NBA championship with the Warriors. It was long overdue. But you know what? Sometimes you look back and go, damn. The Phoenix Suns could have been the ones to sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers and kick LeBron James' sorry ass with that garbage 2007 roster. But that wasn't the case because the NBA screwed the Phoenix Suns over by suspending Amari Stoudemire and Boris Diaw, and ultimately the Spurs beat the Cavaliers. Now I hope you guys didn't take me serious when I said that Steve Nash was supposed to win a championship with Dwight Howard and Kobe Bryant. I hope you didn't take that serious. No team is a contender when Dwight Howard is in the team. No team in the NBA. This is JPTV. Thank you for tuning in.